Hello everyone. Welcome to Mentorsir, a dedicated platform for UPSC mentorship. I am Shubhi, your host and host for the session today. Today we have with us IPS Vijay Raghav Goyal sir. He secured All India rank 229 in CSE 2023. Sir, I warmly welcome you on behalf of all the students present here and the team mentor, sir. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
So, in this session, we will discuss how Sir followed his dreams, faced challenges, and finally cleared UPSC. We'll also have a short Q&A session in the end. So, let's begin with the first
Sure.
session. So, Sir, first of all, I'm curious to know that how and when did your dream and passion for civil services begin?
See, about civil services, I had no idea about civil services in my teenage years. When I went into college, and few of my friends were actually preparing for civil services. At
Hmm.
that time only, I got to know, okay, there is some kind of job platform, and civil services is a platform, and all these things happens like that. Prior to that, I had no clue about it. So basically, in 2016, 2017, I got exposure to civil services. And then once you get such exposure, you tend to compare your current job portfolio and your current system with the civil services. And obviously my friends are going in through it, so I had some idea that what this particular service brings in my life and in job platform also. So that actually that was fascinating. That was something which I realized, okay, this is something which, if I do, it will lead to a lot of improvement in my own life, in my family's life, and also in society's life. Now this uh, accumulates with one of the problem which I had in my college, that the stream in which I was going into, I started to lose interest in that. So these two things coincided. So I actually went to I was dedicated into that particular stream. I went to some internships, I did some research in that particular area, but then I realized, okay, this is not something which I'm finding joy to do so. And so I realized, okay, let's give this thing a shot. Then why not giving 2 to 3 years to this area. If not, I'll come back to my engineering aspects. There's no issue in it. So I had a backup plan in my mind. And I found something which I found very curious. And my current stream was something which I was not finding that interesting. So all these things together pushed me towards the civil services.
That's great, sir. I was like, hey, you have that kind of inner connectivity with you that you realized that this is not my calling. My calling is something else. And let me give it a chance.
Yeah.
So, sir, you told that you were into engineering college and you were into IIT Delhi.
Yes.
So, can you take us to that journey? How did that begin? Was it like just after 12th or?
No, so my IIT journey actually began after 10th. So after 10th, I went to Kota. So you have to prepare for 2 years at least for IIT JEE. So after Kota, after 10th, I was in Kota. I did coaching there. I lived there for 2 to 3 years. So and then after giving IIT, I went into IIT JEE. I went into IIT Delhi. So even in that journey, see, if I take it from UPSC angle, even today I remember that part, that quota part, as when I was going through this UPSC journey, because I was what, some 15, 16 year old at that point. And in that 15, 16 year old, and I'm going into a particular competitive exam. UPSC is also competitive exam, ITJ is also competitive exam. And I had that exposure of competitive exam in that year, in those formative years of mine. That actually gave me a lot of confidence when I was going into this into UPSC in my third fourth year of college. It called me. I recalled that, okay, I did the similar thing in Kota, and I somehow cleared it. So I have confidence in myself. The self doubt thing was reduced because of that Kota journey which I faced. Obviously it's not easy, living away from family, and a lot of different kind of uh, anxiety, pressure does comes up. But keeping those things aside, if I take a cumulative conclusion out of it, I was able to say myself that, okay, I have went through such kind of route in my past, and I cleared it, so why not again. That is something which gave me a lot of confidence when it came to UPSC. And secondly, when it comes to IIT, uh, I share one particular my insight in from IIT's life. See, we think of IITians as some very bright students or genius kind of students, because this is kind of thing which is been shown, which is been told to us. Even in UPSC, once you clear UPSC, you are being portrayed as a very high person, very achiever person.
Yeah.
So when I went into IIT, I
Mm,
realized that if I take top 100 students of IIT,
mm,
obviously the 10 to 15 students will be great, but
mm,
remaining 80 to 85 students, you won't be able to figure out, okay, this is an IITian, until unless he or she tells that he is an IITian. What I'm trying to say is that those 80 to 85% students were similar to you and me only, just like a backbencher in, he or she might be a backbencher in school, or I never have been a topper in school. So,
mm,
and similar was the case with them also. What I'm trying to say is that these are the cream students, or so-called cream students,
mm,
from our education system, and those cream students are not much different from others. And that actually brought me a confidence that, okay, whomsoever I'm going to compete with, those people are also not some extraordinary students, those are also like you and me only. So
mm.
that fear which comes out of that fear of competition which comes out, that reduced a lot because of this quota in IIT Delhi, by analyzing what kind of journey I'm going through.
Absolutely, sir. So you mentioned when you went to Kota, you were around like 16, 17 years old. And when you started this UPSC journey, I'm expecting like 21, 22 years old. So during that phase, some sort of maturity also came. And these IIT and this internship also has given you a lot of exposure. So what difference did you felt that that Raghav sir at 16, 17 years of age went to Kota and started preparing for the first national exam that you're going to face? And Raghav sir at 21, 22 years of age preparing for UPSC. So in the aspect I'm asking that everybody faces that family pressure, peer pressure, that some kind of self doubt, confidence, lack of confidence. So how did you maintain at that 16 years of age and compared to that 21 and 22 years of age?
See, in 16 years of age, it was very difficult. To be honest, I can't even recall how this went through. It was just like, okay, my parents told me to go to Kota. And I mean, it's not like their own imposed solution, imposed the job on, imposed career on me. We had a discussion, but then they showed me the path, that this is the path which you have to go through. And okay, uh, it was not easy. It was I was fearful. My friends helped me. Obviously, I was not alone there. There were like 6 to 7 people from my own community who we went all together. So that helped a lot. But when I compared this thing from UPSC, the 16-year-old Raghav to 21-year-old Raghav, the major thing which changed was confidence. And when I went into this UPSC thing, I had a conviction that I can do it. And all of this conviction was coming up from my own past journey, that what happened with me in Kota. So that is the, I think, if I take one particular thing, that is this thing only, that a mental conviction, a sense of positivity which I had during UPSC preparation, that was much more than what I had during the IIT JEE period. Other than that, there were few problems which I faced in Kota. One of them was, as you talk about peer pressure, there's another thing which comes out as, in those 16, 17 year old, you're not that mature. So sometimes you tend to have a kind of jealousy also with peers.
Yes.
So if you are
Yes.
scoring better and if the other person is not scoring better,
Yes.
that
Yes.
comes a
Yes.
little problem. You might have heard this dialogue of Three Idiots, that दोस्त जब
Yes.
फेल होता जाता है तो बुरा लगता है, दोस्त फर्स्ट आ जाता है तो और ज्यादा बुरा लगता है.
True, true, true. Yeah.
So that thing happens, and this is a very normal human nature. So
Mm.
I realized that this thing actually, I actually felt this thing during my quota period, and that hurt me a lot also. So few things like this I took from Kota experience into my UPSC preparation, and I was very convinced that I will not let these things affect me. So in my UPSC preparation, I was uh, very much considerate when it comes to my peer group or my friends group. So
Hmm.
because this kind of mental pressure I never wanted. If I have a peer group with me, it should only help me positively, and it should help them also positively. And fortunately that
Hmm.
happened. I had a very excellent peer group. It was actually my group of friends from IIT only. And
Hmm.
we had a very good bonding in this particular phase, which
Hmm.
helped reduce a lot of mental anxiety and fear.
It's truly humble of you that you put it in a so beautiful way. Those hardships of 3 years, that it is just a lot of struggle and lot of mental pressure. But I'm sure that it's a day-to-day struggle. It's like I'm not putting enough. My friend is putting enough. What should I do? Those sleepless nights. But you also mentioned that there are few good takeaways that you took to the UPSC journey as well. So can you please mention those, highlight those points, that those good points you take away from Quota prep to the UPSC prep?
uh, I think first would be right sleep. In Kota, many times because of these anxiety and pressure, you often tend to have sleepless nights. And then for me, it was like if I have sleepless night today, next 2 to 3 days will get ruined. So first thing for me was, okay, I will always ensure that my sleep is good and my
Hmm.
health is good, because it's your body, it's my machine which I have to
Hmm.
uh, by which I'll be studying. So that is first thing which I took forward. Second thing is that things go gradually. It's not that after 1 month or 2 months you will tend to learn everything. To the extent in Kota, it was my third year when I actually realized that I know everything. In first 2 years, I was very underconfident when it comes to ITJ. So, and this same thing happens in UPSC also. UPSC is a very vast syllabus, and it often happens that we tend to read, let's say we are reading society, but then we think, okay, I'm reading society itself is vast, but then polity is remaining, IR is remaining, ethics is remaining. When I went into ethics, I will be realizing, okay, I have lost society, I'm not able to recall the previous things. And then you have to make connections also. If there's a question of GS1, I should write something from GS3, GS2 also, to show that kind of interlinkages. It's not easy to go get these things in one day or in even in 1 year, I'll say. And so we tend to get impatient. Kota told me that, okay, even if things are not right, over time you'll get hang of these things. So patience is something which I took from that Kota journey into the UPSC journey, which helped me a lot to calm myself whenever things were not going as I planned.
Great, sir. So you told that first of all that you should realize your worth. You should not take your sleep, your health for granted. So it's great that you realize these things. But sir, what actually give you this inner strength? Because I'm so curious to know that you have been through that 3 years of struggle, and then after doing that your electrical engineering and those repeated internships, you were. I understand that you said that you know what you can contribute to society, but then it should be like inner strength that no, again I can go through that phase, though the success rate and the amount of students who are applying into UPSC is so humongous. So what give you that strength then no, I will be leaving all this behind, let me go ahead for it? So is it like any specific experience or any specific person that motivated you? I just want you to highlight that.
uh, See, I often used to think, okay, like these fears comes up. So
Hmm.
what is this fear? I will ask myself. So first fear is that, what if I fail? So for me it was like, okay, even if I fail, I have something to back onto. So I had a prior degree with me, so I thought, okay, I won't go unemployed at least. That is first thing. Second is, what is the fear? I may get old. But what is the reason? I mean, even if I'm 24 or if I'm 28, it doesn't really matter. These 20s, I was mentally prepared that 20s, age of 20s is something where I can give anything, everything, and I don't expect something anything in return. this thing which often you hear, that whatever you can do, just do it in your 20s period, so that you can have a better life in 30s and 40s.
mm,
So 20s is something when you can give the
mm,
most. So I had this thing in my mind, okay, it doesn't
mm,
matter if it takes 2 to 3 years, even 4 years extra. It
mm,
really doesn't matter if I take
mm,
the longer time frame of 70 to 80 years of life. Thirdly, the fear comes is from family, that what will family do, family is also dependent on me and all those things.
yeah,
See, here I
true.
think I'm very fortunate. uh,
Mm,
my family had a huge role in my particular success, I think,
mm,
because they always shielded me from any kind of problems which we are facing. even in covid
correct.
period uh, even in covid period, I remember that I was also hospitalized, my father was also hospitalized.
Oh,
but
yeah.
see, if I am hospitalized, obviously everybody is taking care of it. But when my father was hospitalized, I was not in the hospital. So my
Mm,
other family members took care of it, and they just asked me to just stay in my room and study. So these
mm,
type of things, and whenever I failed, it was never that my family forced me to take a job. They always asked me to recalibrate my planning. They asked me to say, if you want to remain in this thing or not. Obviously you have to take a rational judgment out of it, but they never forced me to take a job
mm,
and get out of it. So I had a huge family
mm.
uh,
Support.
support
Yeah.
from that angle. So I think, and fourthly, one more thing which I feel is that, uh, I always evaluated where I stand. So for example, it was a 5 to 6 year journey in UPSC, and there was highs and lows also. But whenever I was on a low, I always tend to see, okay, why this low came out. For example, I failed prelims in my fourth attempt, and
Mm,
I went to interview in my third attempt. So, and I remember exactly, it was prelims was on, I think, 5th of June, and result came out on 28th of May or something. So,
mm,
and my interview was also on 11th of May. So I did not get much time to prepare for prelims also, and I failed the prelims.
mm,
But then I knew that, okay, I have been good. I have been performing well in last few years.
mm,
This prelims I was not able to perform, but that is not because I don't have knowledge. That is more because the circumstances were such, and
mm,
there is an element of luck also in this exam. So because of these things, I was able to convince myself that, okay, it's not that I don't have the skill, it's not that I don't have the knowledge, it's more because of the circumstances that I'm not able to clear it. So this judgment helped me, logically helped me to stay in the race. If tomorrow, if let's say I was not able to clear mains in my 3 attempts, for it's a total my
mm,
personal call. For me, if let's say I've given 3 mains and I'm not even able to clear prelims or clear mains, then I will be saying to myself, okay, I'm working hard, but this is not something which is happening, so I should look somewhere else.
mm,
Okay, I've
mm,
given decent time to it. But that was not the case with me. I was able to clear mains, I was able to get good marks, but then I was able then but then small things was not going in my favor. So I was like, okay,
mm.
these small things will get into my domain in next 1 year or 2 year.
Here, sir, I totally agree with you that a student is facing a lot of pressure, but it's also a testing time for the families.
Yeah.
So, how family react with that person who is actually preparing for the exam is actually makes and breaks the confidence of that person. So, that I totally agree with you, sir. And like you also mentioned that this 3 attempts, roughly you mentioned that, okay, if I'm not able to go to mains or interview till that phase, so that means it's my fault. This is not my call, or this is not the thing that I should go for it. So is it like truly something before entering into this journey, you decided that I will be giving 2 or 3 or 4 attempts wholeheartedly, and then I'll decide on how organic you made the planning about it?
Yes, 2 to 3 attempt was something which I gave to myself. I thought, okay, in first attempt it's very difficult to crack it. In second attempt also, sometimes things can go wrong. Luck factor is also there. So I gave myself a third attempt also, that okay, by third attempt I should be able to clear. But it was not like if I'm not able to clear in 3 attempts, I will know, I will quit. Or if I'm, it was more like, after 3 attempts, if I'm not able to clear, I will make a rational judgment out of it. I will evaluate myself that where I stand, and then I'll proceed forward. I'll just give you an example. I'll give you an example. One of my friend, he gave like 5 to 6 attempts. He still is not able to clear prelims, but I never asked him to quit.
Yes, it happens.
Why? Because I've
Mm,
seen his mains answers, and his mains answers are fabulous. I've seen his essays. His essays are
mm,
also fabulous, but he is not able to clear prelims.
mm,
Now, prelims is something which I feel
mm,
that even if you take topper of prelims of 1 year, and if you ask him or her to give prelims again in next year, he or she can also fail. Prelims is very dicey, very luck oriented, in my opinion. So if you are
mm,
not able to clear prelims, it's okay, but you are working hard, your other bases are cleared out. So it's a matter of time. If you have time,
mm.
if you can push for 1 or 2 year more, then you should push. So this kind of judgment you have to make based on how you are performing, especially in mains, because prelims is something which is uh, very luck oriented. So I often
Yes,
sideline the prelims aspect. Yeah, so those are the
yes.
main things.
So it's something that you suggest. It This decision is from person to person. Your weaknesses, your strengths, that you should decide with yourself.
Yeah.
How many attempts you want to give, and then you judge yourself. Because the exam is also difficult, so you should give like 3 to 4 chances to yourself. So here
At
I
least,
want
I
to
mean,
come
at
to the
least
point,
two
sir,
chances,
that
2 to 3 chances are minimum. I mean, I don't believe that a person who has cleared it in first attempt, or rather in second attempt,
hmm,
is doing it sheerly on the basis of his or her knowledge base. I mean, there are people who have done it, but if you ask me to generalize it,
hmm,
90 to 95% students will say, 90 to 95% who has succeeded in first or second attempt, they have a luck factor in their hand,
hmm,
or they might have been preparing for a long period before that. They might have been preparing for all of their college life. So you're preparing for
right.
4 years, and then if you're giving a first attempt, that doesn't makes it your first attempt. So uh,
Hmm,
2 to 3
agree.
attempts is something which this exam requires, in my opinion.
Yeah, that I totally agree, so. So I guess after you finished your BTech, and then in between when you gave your first prelims, it was 1.5 years of gap. So like the 18 months of
Yeah.
gap.
Yeah.
So, and you were lucky enough to crack the first prelims in itself. So it boost up your confidence as well. So how did you went with the current affairs resources? Because you only said that you were in Delhi, and Delhi is the hub of the preparation, resources, coaching materials, mentorship. So in that ocean, how you decided and how you were clear cut. So I just
No, no.
wanted to know, sir, ki, in that 18 months of deciding and going for the first prelims, how did you go for it and how did you start it? Like most of the people, they have in the last year, they start reading the newspaper so that they can get the hang of how to read it, what is happening around. Because in college days, we are like chill, we are like participating, and then it's a whole world in itself. So, how did you organically go for it and make sure that this is what I should do for it and I'm satisfied? If this is I have done, then I'm successfully going for my first prelims.
Okay. uh, I'll give you a disclaimer first. The thing is, I scored, I think, 9, I scored some 2 marks more than the cutoff in my first prelims.
Mm,
Okay. And in my second prelims, I scored 2 marks less than the cutoff. So what I'm trying to say here is that I cleared first prelims, but if I have to judge it, it is more of a luck,
mm,
in my opinion. 1 or 2 marks is what, 1 or 2 questions only. One question here or there could have changed the thing. So
mm,
in first attempt, I was not totally entirely sure that what kind of sources I should be picking up, and it was not a perfect preparation from my side in my first year.
mm,
And majorly because it's very difficult in that period. I mean, today we have a lot of mentorship things, Telegram is very active today. In that period, it was not. Even online revolution in this particular coaching area, that came up after
mm,
COVID. Because after COVID, everybody was at home, and then this everybody realized that they have to come on to the online area. But in 2018-19, online thing was not something which was too vast in that period. So mentorship was
Hmm.
also not that good in that particular period. So for me, I was also in this vast ocean. I was also you know attracted by a lot of notes and different kind of books which I should read and all those things. But within 1 to 2 months I realized that it's not possible for me to do everything. That realization is very necessary, first thing. And then we friends had a meeting, and then we realized that okay, we'll go for this thing, that one topic, one source, not more than that.
Hmm.
Whatever be the source, be it spectrum, be it bipin chandra, be it let's say a notes from a particular institute, doesn't matter, but it should be just one.
Hmm.
And I was giving this I was having this faith that whatever source I'm taking, that will be having more or less 90% of what is required for this particular exam, because there's no source which can have 900%, and a good enough source would be working fine. The major thing in this area is that you have to read one particular book at least 5 to 6 times, so that you can recall it during that pressure exam period. If
Hmm.
you start to have more than one sources, it's not possible for you to revise all those sources multiple times. So it also
Hmm.
actually, if you stick to one source for one particular topic, it eases down your preparation to a high level, and your mental pressure also reduces. You will also start to see results very very soon, because we don't have to read much. So that is first thing which I went through. Second thing was that you know I was having some problems with my optional, and it's a story which I like to tell here. So what happened is that I was going with my optional, and I was done with my optional by before prelims. I was done with my optional. After prelims, between that prelims and mains period, I went through my optional again, and I realized that I know nothing about optional. So whatever I
Hmm.
was reading, it was very pale, and various topics of my syllabus was something which I did not know about. So I
Hmm.
knew that this is not something which is going to work. What I did is I took up some notes from other coaching institute, and I
Hmm.
also bought all the books which is possible, which they recommend. Till now I was not going with books. Till now I was trying to limit my sources to minimum level. So this thing I will also emphasize, that please try to limit your sources to the minimum level. You are not god, you're not a computer. You can only read
Hmm.
one book or maximum two books. If you start to read more, it will just burn you out. So for me also, I was always trying to cut down the sources.
Hmm.
I will read the minimum thing which is required, and then I can build over it once I'm comfortable with it. So in optional I was
Hmm.
doing the same thing, but then I realized it's not something which is it's not working. So then I took more sources. To my surprise, I realized that whatever is good written in the textbooks, the same thing is also
Hmm.
very fluently written in my notes, and also in other notes which I took. But whatever is something
Hmm.
which is not
Hmm.
written properly in the textbooks, that is also not written in my books, and that is not written properly in my notes, and not written properly in other notes. What I realize is that the teacher who is teaching
Hmm.
this thing, he or she is just taking these notes, these textbooks, and then he or she is just providing it to us, not
Hmm.
doing his or her own research onto it. So
Hmm.
50% of the topics are good because these are good in notes, because these are good in textbooks. 50% of
Hmm.
topics which are not properly written in textbooks,
Hmm.
those are completely wasted.
Hmm.
So that is one point when I realized that okay, my 4 to 5 months of optional, that is totally lost. then
Hmm.
i then I tried to see okay, which is the better teacher of optional in this particular. So I had a geography option, so I tried to figure out which are the geography optional teachers available in market. And then after few research, I mean, I talked to few people, and then I picked one other another coaching center, and I actually did
Hmm.
optional again from that particular coaching center. That actually
Hmm.
helped me, because that person was able to do justice with all the topics which was there. So
Hmm.
this is important, that whenever you choose a coaching center, or choose a teacher, you
Hmm.
should do your own homework also, that does that teacher really be able to do justice with all the topics which are there in the syllabus. Because
Hmm.
if you don't do that, and if you just go with anyone, then it can lead to
Hmm.
4 to 5 months loss of 4 to 5 months, and loss of lot of mental pressure
Hmm.
and mental mind space also. So you have to be
Hmm.
very careful about this particular thing.
So, sir, you told that first of all, your resources should be limited. And second of all, and my voice is clear, sir?
Yeah, yeah, your voice is clear.
Okay. And second of all, you should be aware that your notes are holistic or not. Whatever you have read is up to the mark that you are able to give answers or not. So I'll come to that point later. But first of all, I just want you to, like you also mentioned, that prelims is very dicey. And like first prelims got cleared, but then struggled. Every alternate, this was happening. So, is there anything that you figured out during your journey that, okay, this thing, apart from like you did a lot of MCQ practice, so like this should one aspirant should do to get the confidence or to get into that upper layer who have did the maximum for the prelims?
Yes. See, my insight into prelims is that, uh, see what we do. If I take a general person, if he or she doesn't clear, he or she fails to clear prelims, they will say, okay, these are 10 questions which I'm not able to solve, and they will
Hmm.
pick those difficult 10 questions which were, out of the box questions. Some questions in every year, 10 questions will be in prelims, which will be something very factual, or something which you will say, यार ये कहाँ से आ गया, ये तो कहीं पे भी नहीं लिखा हुआ
Yes,
है ना?
yes,
and
yes.
and then they will start to fear about those kind of questions which are very
Hmm.
extraordinary, very unique questions. And then they will try to
Hmm.
figure out what sources should I
Hmm.
read so that I be able to solve these questions. And then they will
Hmm.
go into that area. I think that is an exercise which is making sure that you will fail
Hmm.
prelims again. What
Hmm.
actually happened with me in prelims is that whenever I'm clearing prelims or whenever I'm not clearing prelims, I realize
Hmm.
that there is a set of 10 to 15 questions which are easy enough,
Hmm.
which I knew are coming from
Hmm.
this particular source only, which I am supposed to do
Hmm.
correct, but I somehow failed to do
Hmm.
those. For example, in
Hmm.
2024, 2022 prelims, in my fourth attempt, I still recall that particular question. There was a
Yes.
question which said that, uh,
Hmm.
it was an environment question. It said that which is the largest, sorry, the question said that in which of the following national parks there exist no tribes, and one of the option was
Hmm.
Desert National Park. So
Hmm.
something like that. In Desert National Park, there exist no tribes.
Hmm.
Now, my common sense will say that, you know what, there would be at least one or two tribes in there. I mean, it's a big national park. Obviously, there would be some people who are living there.
Hmm.
But I did not mark that. I marked that as correct, that there exist
Hmm.
no tribes, which was wrong.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
consider it as a very silly mistake, and that is
Hmm.
one question which actually led to my downfall in that particular year. What
Okay.
I'm trying to say is that it is the silly mistakes which you make in prelims
Hmm.
that is going to make sure that if you're failing or success in that prelims, not the difficult questions which that prelims offer. So
Hmm.
what you need to do, in my opinion, is that first figure out that how much marks you have what is the gap between your marks and the cutoff. If your gap is, let's say, 10 marks, then the problem is not with your knowledge. Then the problem is with the alertness, with the carefulness in that particular exam. Because at least 6 to 7 silly mistakes is something a average person will be doing in a particular prelims. Even if
Hmm.
I say 6 silly mistakes, that means how
Hmm.
much? 12 marks and 12 marks and 4 marks of negative marking. So basically you are
Hmm.
losing out on 16 marks just by doing
Hmm.
those 6 silly mistakes. That 16
Hmm.
marks is something which you have to gain out, not those 10 questions which were difficult, and for those questions you are running through different books.
Hmm.
Basically, do prepare well for your prelims. Prepare well meaning do take a lot of mock test for prelims. And
Hmm.
before 10 to 15 days of prelims, try to sleep properly, try to keep yourself calm, especially
Hmm.
on the night before prelims. Have a proper sleep, because
Hmm.
it is that 2 hours which is leading to
Hmm.
downfall if you are in that 10 mark zone. if you are in the 20 mark zone, let's say you're failing prelims by 20-25 marks, then there is a problem with your knowledge. Then you have to
mm,
either revise more, or
mm,
there's a possibility that your sources are not right. But I
mm,
don't think that problem happens with a person uh, fairly who is fairly hardworking. But many times many people are hardworking, but they miss prelims by 2 marks, 4 marks, 10 marks. For those
mm,
people, it's just silly mistakes. Just make sure that you're calm while you're preparing,
mm,
while you're doing the exam, and just, if you don't take my word,
mm,
go back to those question papers, and whichever question you have marked wrong, try to figure out,
mm,
is this question which you should have marked wrong or not. There will be a lot of
mm,
questions which you feel that, okay, this is from Lakshmikant only, this is something which is very commonsensical, but you marked it wrong. Those
mm.
questions you have to tap out. If you are tapping out these questions, there will be no problems in prelims.
Okay. So, sir, like you mentioned, that it's not the knowledge alone, but it's the presence of mind as well. How good logic you are able to apply in that exam pressure while you're facing those questions. So, you given the example by this right question as well. So, sir, how much do you feel that there's a knowledge and logic combination? Like, if it is like 60% knowledge or 40% logic, it's like because the questions also does not repeat.
Hmm.
So they can ask the same question, but in a different way. That at that point of time, you might have practiced in your MCQs, but at that point of time, when you are in that exam pressure, you feel like ये कहाँ से आ गया? So how aware and how logically you should be seeing your questions.
uh, so if I take, there are 100 questions in prelims. I
Hmm.
think if I'm doing 70 questions correct in those 100
Hmm.
questions,
Hmm.
uh, not more than 20 to 25 questions would be such question which I am doing correct via knowledge. So in those 25 questions, it would be like, even if you don't give me options, I'll be able to find the answer. But in the
Hmm.
remaining
Hmm.
35
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
45 questions,
Hmm.
if you don't give me options, I will not be
Hmm.
able to solve the question. So
Hmm.
I'm trying to say is that I think logic goes even more than 50% when it comes to prelims. Knowledge
Hmm.
base would be having a role of 30 to 40% in my opinion, but 60 to 70% it is your logic
Hmm.
which comes for rescue when it comes to prelims. Now
Hmm.
again, it doesn't mean that you will start to go with tricks and and all those things, tips and tricks when it
Yes.
comes to
Yes.
prelims. There are a lot of tips and tricks also which comes in the
Hmm.
market, and I will
Hmm.
frankly ask you to not to go with those things. What
Hmm.
happens with those tips and tricks is that if you have good knowledge with you, then you
Hmm.
can use that knowledge to eliminate few things. That is the
Hmm.
only thing which that logic aspect can do. So in those 30 to 40 question in which I am using logic primarily, I was able to use logic via my existing knowledge only. It's not that
Hmm.
knowledge will be completely surpassed by logic.
Hmm.
So a healthy mix is there, but I still feel logic weighs more than knowledge when it comes to prelims, because you also see it from, just imagine, I mean, there's a person who can ask you anything in under
Hmm.
the sun. It
Hmm.
is not possible for us as humans to recall everything in our books, or recall everything which is in the newspapers or in the internet. But then
Hmm.
again, you have to answer those questions. It is
Hmm.
not possible for you. And I feel that even the examiner who is setting the paper, he or she
Hmm.
also thinks that, okay, this is something which he or she might not be knowing,
Hmm.
but if he use common sense, if he use logic, then
Hmm.
answer he or she can arrive to the answer. Now, how to develop it? I think it is mocks. Once you give
Hmm.
like 30 to 40 mocks,
Hmm.
then this thing start to build into your intellect. And
Hmm.
slowly you try to see, you learn that this is right or this is wrong from the logical point of view.
Great. So if I'm not wrong, and if I comprehend it, summarize it, then one should not be fearful of solving MCQs, but rather be practice as much as possible so that the logic can build over time.
Yeah.
Because knowledge, it will like it can be in your memory and then you will practice again and it will come into your memory. But logic, it take time to build up. So
Yes.
the only and only solution is to practice as much MCQs as possible. In that, limited span of like 2 hour frame and that exam setup, so that you can feel that pressure and you can feel that, okay, that dilemma whether I go for this option or that option. So feel that pressure, and then when you evaluate your answers, then go for it where I was wrong.
I'll
Great.
just like to add two things here. First
Yes.
thing is that you might have seen a lot of students who have cleared prelims, but they have not read much. You
Hmm.
might have come across few of your friends who were like they did not know much, but still they are able
Hmm.
to clear prelims. And you will also come across a lot of students who are preparing for like 6 7 months, 6 7 years, but still they are not able to prepare crack prelims. So
Hmm.
if you take the knowledge aspect, that 6 7 years student will be having more knowledge in my opinion
Hmm.
than the first second year student, but still that first second year student is able to clear prelims. Why is that? It
Hmm.
is because it's not just knowledge. Many times a lot of factors other than knowledge also comes into play. One of them
Hmm.
being logic, another one being presence of mind, calmness in you. So I
Hmm.
also want to highlight one story here. In 2023, this pattern changed. This one pair,
Yes.
two pair kind of questions came.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And
Yes.
it was a shock for a lot of students who were giving that year's prelims.
Hmm.
When I was in that particular exam hall, and I
Hmm.
opened the paper, I also saw one pair, two pair.
Hmm.
I actually was very happy at that point that this kind of question came. I was feared. I know I was
Hmm.
feared, but I was telling myself, okay, yes, this is very good. This is the best thing which can happen. What I told myself is that now the cutoff is going to get low at least 10 to 15 marks, because generally at that point 90, 9900 cutoff was there. I was like, okay,
Hmm.
cutoff is going to be at some 85 now, because this kind of questions are difficult. Second, I
Hmm.
told myself that everybody else here is going to feel like they are lost now. So
Hmm.
because of that mental pressure, I can get an edge now, because it's a competition. Let's be fair. I don't want I'd have no ill feeling about anybody else. But in that
Hmm.
competition, I told myself that if I keep calm in this particular exam,
Hmm.
then other people's will. It's a surety that other people's will not be able to keep calm here. But if
Hmm.
I keep calm here, then I will be able to score more than others, and I don't need to score 100, 110. I just need to score 85 here, because it's not an easy paper. So what I'm trying to say is that if paper comes difficult, it's not difficult for you, it's difficult for everyone. If paper
Hmm.
comes difficult, the cutoff is going to get cutoff is going to reduce. So you
Hmm.
should not fear of paper.
Hmm.
Once you start to see, okay, for example, Abhyas of Vision, I think they also provide very difficult papers in
Yes.
Hana, and very random papers also.
Hmm.
But I always try to attempt those, not for the marks point of view, but from your own mental preparedness point of view, that even if it's a difficult paper, you should be calm at that particular point, because
Hmm.
it's difficult for everyone. It's not difficult for just you. And if you are able to keep yourself calm and keep yourself composed in that particular situation, you will be
Hmm.
able to get more marks than others, and that is what we require to clear this exam.
Hmm.
Not absolute marks, it's a relative marks which comes into the play. So keep this thing in mind, that even if it's difficult for everyone, so it doesn't matter.
Hmm. So, sir, you mentioned it multiple times that you were able to manage your calm and you also credited sleep a lot. So, is it like the sleep that you understood that that helped you at that point of time, or it is like multiple MCQ solving practice, or is there any hobby and other things you were practicing or meditation that you were practicing daily that help you to overcome the anxiety that people aspirants feel at that point of time and to manage that calmness that is required to be sorted while solving your questions?
Yes. See, about hobbies and meditation. See, if you have a hobby and if you do meditation, that's very good. Okay.
Mm.
Unfortunately for me, I mean, this is a problem of mine. I want to change it, but I was not able to pursue any particular hobby, and I was not able to pursue meditation during my preparation phase.
Mm.
That certainly means that if I be able to do so, had I
Mm.
pursued a hobby or meditation, I'm sure that I would have cleared it earlier. I cleared it at least 1 or 2 years before that.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So but it's just my problem. By any circumstances, I was not able to do so. I tried that also, but I was not able to gain that kind of confidence or gain that kind of
mm,
motivation to
mm.
pursue your hobby or pursue meditation. That is totally
Mm.
my particular my personal situation. So
Viewpoint. True.
so obviously, if you can pursue a hobby, or if you can do meditation, please do it. For me, to manage that stress period, it
Mm.
was friends. So whenever I used to have any kind of problem, I used to just call my friends, and we used to have a like half hour or 1 hour talk. And I used to share my problems, he or she also used to share their problems, and then it used, once you let things out, it you feel light. So
Yes.
that was my go to way of solving that anxiety system. Also, because I was living at home, many times, you need a human touch also. So
Mm.
just going into the lounge and talking with my mother or sister or brother, these things also used to help a little. Because you tend to get away from that stress environment, and then you are going into a family environment. That
Also,
totally.
loneliness maybe that people feel.
Exactly, loneliness is also something which people feel, and family reduce it to a large extent. It is a problem for people who are living in Delhi. I mean, if you're living in Delhi, then loneliness will kick in. So
Mm.
for me, friends and family was something which was my stress removers, entirety of the preparation.
Great, sir. So, sir, my last question for prelims is that you have also mentioned that you have joined this Abhyas papers of vision. They are random papers.
Yeah,
They said random questions. So many of the aspirants, they are like a very choosy, like which test series they should join and which is more closer to the pattern the UPSC is asking. So what would you suggest? While solving the mock papers, you should challenge yourself to those mock papers also, which is like complete, take you complete out of your comfort zone and out of UPSC also. Or you should be choose those uh, mock papers which are more closer to UPSC pattern.
you need both of them. In your initial phase, choose easy mock papers, because you need to first gain confidence. But
Mm,
once you are comfortable with the syllabus and with the prelims test, then go
mm,
for these challenging mocks. And whenever you're going for challenging mocks, you have to keep one thing in mind, that this is a challenging mock. I'm not here to score high marks. I'm more
mm,
here to ensure that the questions which I should be able to solve, I'm solving those
mm,
questions. So even if, let's say, it's a very difficult paper and only you are scoring only 60 marks, but
mm,
then you should say 60 marks, meaning, let's say, you are only able to score 30 questions.
mm,
But then you should be able to say, okay, out of the remaining 70 questions,
mm,
about 68 to 67 questions were not doable. Only 3 questions were doable, and you will make 2 to 3 mistakes. That's a normal thing. So what I'm
mm,
trying to say is that it's a challenging mock, but you should be able to pick those questions in that challenging mock which are easy, which you should
mm,
be able to do with your common sense. Because
mm.
again, in prelims, the game will come boil down to picking the right question. For example, I will give you one more instance. In prelims, we have ABCD pattern.
Yes.
So ABCD, that pattern on question paper, like A set, B set, C set, D set.
Yes, 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 yes.
So let's say if polity is difficult this year, and
Mm.
your set is A, and polity is the
Yeah.
first 10 questions, you will
Mm.
feel bad. And
Yes,
then you
yes,
will be like, your confidence will go down.
yes.
But let's say if polity is in D set, in the last 10 questions, it
Mm.
becomes easier for you. Why?
Totally agree.
Because what happens is that once you get difficult questions right away in the starting, you
Mm.
tend to feel underconfident, and then you
Mm.
skip those questions also which were easy. There will be
Mm.
three difficult questions, but in between there will be one or two simple questions also. You tend to
Mm.
overlook them, and when that
Mm.
happens, you are losing out on 4 to 5 marks, and that is the
Mm.
4 to 5 marks which you need to clear the prelims.
Mm.
So whenever you're going through those difficult questions, obviously you have to go through those difficult mocks. But when you're going through those difficult mocks, you have to attempt the paper properly rather than scoring more marks. You should be satisfied with your attempt, not with your marks.
True. Agree. So, sir, now let's take to this towards the mains journey. And that part I want to highlight, like, I want to ask you specifically because the vastness of the syllabus is so huge, and this GS1, one subject itself covering the three subjects. And itself, if you just dissect it, there are so many subparts. So, how did you take this mains challenge? And was the answer writing started simultaneously with your prelims, or it started later? So, please highlight.
uh, See, mains again, it's vast. What I feel, mains is much easier than prelims.
Okay.
uh, See, for a first year person, or the person who is just in first attempter person, student,
Mm,
he or she will feel mains as difficult because you have to write a lot. And writing for 3 hours for 7 papers, and
mm,
writing an essay, it's a very difficult. It sounds very difficult. And may in prelims, what, it's just PYQs, sorry, it's just MCQs, you just have to fill a bubble. So it
yeah.
sounds very easy.
Mm,
But in actuality, once you are okay with mains, see, it will take some time, but once you are okay with mains, if you are, you will be very easy with mains. Even today, you ask any person who has
mm,
cleared this exam, he or she
mm,
will be fearful of prelims, he or she will not be fearful of mains. Why? Because once you get a hang of mains, it's very difficult to lose it. So once you get hang of your syllabus, once you get hang of your course, sorry, your content, and once you get hang of answer writing, then it's
mm,
done. So that is first thing which I want to highlight. Second,
mm,
yes, the content is vast, but
mm,
go for the, just see the PYQs. You will realize that it is vast, but
mm,
questions are coming from very specific areas only. For example, I will give you example of history. History is a very vast topic, vast subject.
mm,
And modern history, we read spectrum a lot. I think modern history's question is also something which we are able to solve in mains also.
mm,
But we do fear about art and culture, we do fear about ancient history, we do fear about world history,
mm,
because again, these are also vast topics. And
mm,
you cannot tap these things. But how
mm,
much questions come from these area? World history,
mm,
one question at max. Even if you take that question, it is a
mm,
possibility that if you know basics of world history, you will be able to solve those basics of world history, meaning if you know American Revolution, French Revolution, if you know World
mm,
War One, World War Two, which are the basic most important things, then you will be able to answer, at least do justice to the question which is being asked. Or
mm,
if there be a question which is very out of the box, nobody will be able to do so. So you have to
mm,
do that kind of maneuvering, that if I'm reading a particular topic,
mm,
is it the cost benefit good for that topic or not? For example, in world history, I only read that world history for 1 to 2 days in my
mm,
entire 1 year of preparation. And that also 2 days was just right 2 to 3 days before the GS1 paper. So 2 to 3 days before the mains, I took world history, I read it for 1.5 day, and that's it. Why? Because I knew that if a question comes from a difficult portion, nobody will be able to do so. So no matter, I mean, it's a competition. Relatively, I will be at same area. And if it's a simple question, then this content is enough to do so. Same goes with IR also. IR is also something which is vast when you
mm,
start to read. But if you see the questions which is coming up, more questions
mm,
are into in current affair domains. More questions are
mm,
which is happening in the reality today. So
mm,
you don't need to sway too much into those, let's say, international organizations or Indian organizations which are also part and parcel of IR. And I used to
mm,
feel very difficult to prepare those areas. But then the question, when you see the question, you will see that, oh, it's more current affair based. So you
mm,
tend to it reduces your syllabus to a large extent when you
mm,
try to see what kind of questions are coming up. So that is one thing which everybody should do on their own. They should go through PYQs of last 10 years, not to solve them, but to get a
mm,
hang of the kind of questions which that particular subject is providing. That is first thing. Second thing
mm,
would be that even if we feel it's a vast paper, if I
mm,
take case of, let's say, a big topic, let's say polity is a big topic in my opinion.
mm,
Okay, I assure you that if you take five papers of polity, five sectional papers of polity, each paper having 20 questions. If you take five
mm,
papers of polity, which means cumulatively you have taken 100 questions. If you prepare those 100 questions, or if you write those 100 questions, the next 100 first question which is coming in polity, that would be somewhere from those 100 questions only. It would be very difficult to make a question which is unique from those 100 questions. What I'm trying to say is that if you write 4 to 5 papers of every topic which you are writing, if 4 to 5 of economy, 4 to 5 of society, 4 to 5 of polity, history, 90 to 95% of your mains is done. So it's not that difficult, the questions, because the paper the coaching institutes who are setting those paper, they also are going through the PYQs. They are also knowing that what kind of questions UPSC is asking. And UPSC is also not a that psycho person. They also know that these are students. They are not expecting us to know everything. They are only expecting us to know those things which are important. Okay, so if you do 4 to 5 papers of every subject, economy, agriculture, polity, history, society, mota mota, your mains will be done. From the content point of view, it's very difficult to find a question which is outside those particular questions. And I like to run through a small mathematics here. How many
Sure.
papers we have, how many topics we have: history, geography, society, polity, IR, पांच हो गए. इकोनॉमी, एग्रीकल्चर, इकोनॉमी एंड एग्रीकल्चर साथ में ले लो, ठीक है. इकोनॉमी, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी,
Government.
security, environment, and ethics. So we have mota mota 10 paper, 10 topics. Take an on an average take on an average 5 questions, 5 papers per topic. So basically 50 papers it become. 15 to 20, 1000 questions, right? So if you do those 1000 questions, your mains will be done. I, for the one, in my prelims to mains period, in those 3 months, I did more than 1000 questions. I was writing questions every day. I was writing some 7 to 8 questions every day. And then occasionally I was doing a full length test also. So even if I'm writing, let's say, 10 questions every day on an average, in 100 days you can cover up 1000 questions. And what I'm trying to say is that in those 1000 questions, entirety of your mains will be done. And in those 1000 questions, your answer writing will also be done. And it's not that big a deal. You can do it in 3 to 4 months only. And everybody who is preparing for mains, or everybody who is getting selected, at least those people who are getting selected in rank 1 to 300, those people have been able to do 500 to 600 questions in that prelims to mains period only. I, for the one, because I was more fearful, I used to do more than my target was always more than 1000 questions in that prelims to mains period. And it's not difficult. It just requires sitting of 2 to 3 hours every day, and you have to sit 3 hours for the exam. So you should be sitting for 2 to 3 hours in your room also. And when you should be doing it, see, ideally you should be doing this answer writing in this particular period, meaning in August, September, October, November, December, January. This is the time when you do that answer writing thing. Because in February, March, April, it would be prelims. So it's not wise from my side to ask you to do answer writing at that point also. Prelims itself, it has its own game. But so after February you can go for prelims. But this period, this October, November, December, January, you should be doing answer writing in this particular period, because now you'll be building that answer writing skill. Now you will be building that confidence. Then then after prelims, this confidence and skill will be again honed by you in that prelims to mains period, so as to have a good hang of the answer writing aspect.
Right. So, sir, like you mentioned that uh, between prelims and mains, you were successfully able to do around 8,000 questions. How
1000
many?
questions, 1000.
So 1,000 mains questions, right? So, was this in 2023 or in 2019?
No, not in 2019, not in 2019. In 2023 I was able to do so. In 2000, in 2000, in 2021 I was able to do some 600, 700 questions. In 2023 I was able to do more than 1000 questions.
So, this brings to my next question that obviously it's a slow evolving process. So when we are in the beginning, let's say in the 2019 when you started and then 2020, so you said you have your own notes, and with some notes you were highly confident enough. So how was the journey from converting those notes into answers? Was this a struggle, or is it an organic flow? Like you can see the questions and you can connect with your notes that this is how I have to frame it into an answer in intro, body, conclusion format.
It's difficult to do so. To be honest, for me it was very difficult. Initially I used to write very subjective, very long answers, and I used to write a lot of filler words. I was
Hmm.
often beating around the bush, not going on to the point. I
Hmm.
did not know what is the demand of the question and all those things.
Hmm.
But what I feel is
Hmm.
that if you have one person, see, for me also this worked like a charm in 2020, when
Hmm.
in my second attempt I failed my prelims. In that attempt, that was a
Hmm.
blessing in disguise for me, because now I failed, so now I have time to properly do the things which I had not been able to do in my first attempt. So in
Hmm.
that 1 year time, what I did is I hired a person who will check my answers one to one. Okay, so
Okay.
on Zoom
Hmm.
session only,
Hmm. Hmm.
he was checking
Hmm.
my answers.
Hmm.
So I used to write pathetic in that particular period, but then he was able to figure out, okay, this is the problem which you are doing. Here you have written more, here you have written less, or this
Hmm.
was the demand of the question which you are not meeting up. So he was
Hmm.
able to break the question for me and tell me, see, this is what you are supposed to do. And it's not like I did it for 4 to 5 months, just 4 to 5 sessions only. 4 to 5 session meaning 20 to
Hmm.
25 questions only. In those
Hmm.
20 to 25 questions, I was able to figure out what this answer writing skill is. So
Okay.
basically, you need one person who can show you how to write answers. Once
Hmm.
that thing is done, you can also if you read the toppers copies, the toppers
Hmm.
answers which they have written, a lot of coaching institutes have those on internet. So
Hmm.
you can get a hang of things, that how to write questions. But I feel if there
Hmm.
is a person who knows how to write the answers, and he or she
Hmm.
provides you with personal
Hmm.
inputs,
Hmm.
then it works like a charm. Then you take up those things which you are doing wrong. Once you
Hmm.
are done with it, then it becomes very easy to convert your notes into answers
Right.
and
So you need somebody to guide you,
guide you.
to show you where the how the right answer should be framed.
Yeah. For just
So
I'll give you one example here. For
sure.
example, if you have to write a point, let's say
Hmm.
in poverty, you have to write a point that India has poor education system,
Hmm.
and because of that poor education system, capacity building reduces, which leads to poverty in later life. So simple thing,
Hmm.
poor
Hmm.
education, low capacity, and which leads to poverty, which is to low income and poverty.
Hmm.
So if I write it in
Hmm.
paper, what I will write, India has poor education system, which is
Hmm.
leading to low income, low capacity in public, which is leading to lower income and poverty.
Income. Hmm.
So this is what I think. I have spoken some 20 words to write this
Hmm.
thing. If I write this
Hmm.
thing in my copy, it will take like 3 to 4 lines, and then I will give an example. Acer uh, Acer report shows how poor education is, and then income,
Hmm.
poverty is there, है ना?
Hmm.
But this is not how I will write in mains. Actually, this is how I
Okay.
used to write in my period, in my earlier times. What I will do, I will just write poor education arrow, low human capacity arrow, low income arrow, poverty. So this is,
Okay.
I have totally removed all the prepositions, articles. This is, if an
Hmm.
English teacher checks my copy, he is going to give me -5 by for writing this thing, है ना?
Yeah.
But it's not an English exam, it's a
Yeah.
UPSC exam,
Okay.
and you have to
Hmm.
convey your knowledge in best possible manner and in the
True.
simplest form also. So
Hmm.
if I write in this way, the examiner will also be like, okay, he has given me all the things which I wanted, and he has given me in a diagrammatic thing, but that doesn't matter. It's not an exam of your language skills, it's an exam of your knowledge only.
Hmm.
So what I'm trying to say, this is what he told me, that this is how you can write in a flow chart also. This is the
Hmm.
flow chart method of writing.
Hmm.
Okay. So I used to write this in this way also in a lot of times, and it's not that I don't write statements. But you will
Hmm.
see a lot of students in a lot of toppers copies that they use arrows and then write.
Hmm.
So this is something which if somebody tells you, then you will be able to pick it up. It won't come to you naturally. So these kind of things a mentor tells you in that answer
Agree.
writing area. So once
Agree.
and once you know these things, it will be easy for you to replicate.
Agree. So here I want to bring in the picture these current artificial intelligence apps. So these
Mhm.
Gemini and ChatGPT. So today aspirants using it in different phases for prelims, mains, and interview preparation. So do you think that it is helpful if you will be using it for your answer writing practice? So how anybody can use it, or do you suggest, or you like stay away from such apps while preparing for UPSC?
uh, I have not come across any such app. I have never used any such app also in my preparation. See, I've used ChatGPT. ChatGPT not for mains or not for the exam point of view, but to get some data. That is a different thing.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
what you are, if I'm getting it correctly, you are asking about the those apps which are providing some kind of questions and in answer writing, those kind of things. Is it? Or you
Yes,
are
sir.
saying,
There are.
or you are
Sorry
saying
for
about
interruption.
normal content providing apps?
Okay, so sir, there are two things that the apps that you are telling those give you the regular questions.
Hmm.
I'm asking in in this aspect of artificial intelligence, these Chat GPT and Gemini. So today, what happens that you give them prompt and they frame the answers, or they read also. If you give them the topper copies,
Hmm.
the method of writing, how to
Hmm.
frame an answer.
Hmm.
So like if it is trained in such a way, they can
Hmm.
also behave like a mentor, the way
Hmm.
you want it, the way you want to be taught by a mentor.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, do you think that these artificial intelligence, ChatGPT and Gemini, can be helpful in mains answer writing or in prelims or in other stages? And how
It
one should use it?
it will be helpful. It is very helpful also, but given that you have first a human mentor also, once you're done with
Hmm.
your mentorship, okay, see, you won't be perfect. Once, let's say, if I teach somebody, okay,
Hmm.
he or she will not be perfect. He or she will get an
Hmm.
idea how to write, but
True.
then I won't be available every time. So
Hmm.
then this chat gpt can help to give some inputs that, okay, you could have written in this way also. So that is the
Hmm.
only thing which ChatGPT will do. But if you feel that a person who is very new to this answer writing and he or she will come on to ChatGPT and then try to learn from it, I feel it won't be possible.
Hmm.
For a person who already knows how to write answer and want to improve over it, for he
Hmm.
or she, it's a good thing to do.
Okay, so no amount of this artificial intelligence can replace the human work,
Human
the
touch,
human
yes.
interaction, what insights that they are giving you. Okay, so now let's move on to sir. So just one last question in this mains answer writing. Sir, you mentioned that these 2 3 months, these October, November, December, January, these are very important for mains preparation. So how should one go for it? How should one approach it? Like it should be like some amount of integrated with prelims also, like you devote 20% of prelims and 80% of mains, or you should totally into 100% mains preparation during this time.
if if you are given prelims earlier, and if you are
Hmm.
okay with prelims, okay meaning if you are like in that 10 mark zone, 10-15 mark zone only, uh,
Hmm.
then I think for now you should go with mains only. No worries, do not worry anything about prelims.
Hmm.
But if you are your first attempter, and
Hmm.
if you're first attempt, you still haven't given prelims, or you are totally underconfident with prelims,
Hmm.
then try to do the prelims also. Then you should give like 50-50% or 40-60%, howsoever you feel, wherever your situation is now. Basically what should happen is that, what I want is that, in
Hmm.
when you start prelims
Hmm.
in February, at that
Hmm.
point you should be comfortable with your syllabus, and you should be
Hmm.
comfortable with the idea of prelims. If you have
Hmm.
never given any prelims exam, then
Hmm.
obviously you have to give mocks from from now onwards. It won't
Hmm.
be possible that you will start mocks in February only, no. But
Okay.
if you are in your second attempt, third attempt, then you can skip prelims in this particular period entirely.
Hmm. So that more amount of time should be committed toward mains preparation, and prelims should be self-analyzed at
Hmm.
what stage you are, and accordingly you should utilize your time. Agree, totally agree. So, sir, this year you have given the mains again, and we
Yeah.
are waiting for the result. So, if you can please highlight what all leaves are available to the UPSC selectees or the trainees that one can utilize if they want to prepare further, because many
What
of
are
the
what
people don't.
leaves? I'm not
So,
sorry. I'm not
like,
able to understand
yeah,
leaves.
so like you have these extraordinary leaves which are available to the UPSC who got selected into UPSC. So if they don't want to further continue with the training, they can join in the next session. So
Mhm.
can you highlight what all those extraordinary leaves or any other kind of leaves that are available? One can utilize them so that once you're selected into this civil services, it should not hamper that if you want to prepare further or you want to do anything else here.
Yeah. See, this is very service oriented. So every service has their own rules about how you can approach next exam, if you want to approach or not. For example, in IPS, I cannot give UPSC exam while I'm in training. So had I not taken EOL, it's not possible for an IPS to give an exam in this current phase. Okay, you can give exam after 2 to 3 years once you are into the service. Let's say you're in charge of a district, and then if you want to give the exam, you can give exam. At that point, you can do. But during the training phase, you cannot give exam if you are going for training. So that is first thing. But same thing does not work for other services. For example, in IAAS, Indian Audit and Account Services,
Hmm.
in IAAS you don't need EOL. You can give exam while preparing, while in the training also. Okay, for example,
Okay.
in forest also, you can give exam while you are in training. So there are a lot of people who are in forest academy right now, but they have given exam also. So so basically there are two ways of giving exam. First way is that you take an extraordinary leave like I have taken, and it will be a 1 year of total leave. You can do whatever you want in that 1 year, and then you will come back to the training academy. Or second way is that you remain in the academy, and if academy allows you to
Hmm.
give exam while you are under training, then you
Hmm.
can remain in the academy. Whenever you get time, you can prepare for your exam and then give the exam. The academy will provide you 2 to 3 leaves for the exam, but don't expect them to give you like 10-15 days leave before the exam to prepare. No, they will not give you. So this is something which you have to take into consideration.
Great. So, thank you so much, sir. And I'm sure the valuable insights that you have shared will help so many aspirants who are watching this or who will watch this later. So, thank you so much once again. Now, I want to open this platform for Q&A session. If anybody has any questions, then they can ask.
There's a question: how does it feel after getting selected? uh, See, it's a relief. It's a lot of relief which comes after selection. To the extent, see, now this attempt again, I'm this year also I'm giving an attempt, but uh, I'm not able to feel that kind of pressure, that kind of anxiety which I used to feel. In once one person gets selected, the life eases down. So he or she will be like, okay, there are problems in life. See, problems of life won't change, but you will get a confidence that we can solve those out. For the time being, it's a situation that you have achieved something, and now you have a platform to do everything right in your personal life. So after getting selected, it becomes a very easy life for a few months. Obviously, after then you will get into training, and training itself is a difficult phase. Okay, so not mentally difficult, but physically it will be very difficult. So, but that's a different thing. But once you're selected, it eases down a lot. You'll feel a lot relaxed in your life.
And sir, specifically, I want to know how was the Labasna experience?
uh, See, to be honest, I
Uh,
don't want to demotivate anyone, but
mm,
the things which you see in pics, that
mm.
is not how Labasna is.
Okay.
Labasna is much much difficult, much what we say, much I will say unpleasant compared to what we see in pics. But
Mm,
it will go on for initial 10 to 15 days. Initial 10 to 15 days will be hell when you go to Labasna. But then what
Mm.
will happen? You will make friends. And
Mm.
Labasna experience actually improves once you have friendship in your under your belt. So it is your
Mm.
friends, not Labasna, which actually makes that Labasna experience good.
Mm.
So you will actually build, one there is one thing called trauma friendship or trauma bonding.
Yes,
Basically,
yes, yes.
all of you will be facing a lot of trauma, a lot of
Got it.
hardships in the Basna, but because you all are together there, then you make that bonding. So uh, it's a good place to have, it's a good place to hang out. But
Mm.
academy knows that you are not here for hanging out. Academy knows that you are here because they have to train you. So academy
True.
will train you for a very hectic life.
Mm.
So you might see all those picture and all those things, but in Labasna you have to wake up at 5 o'clock sharply,
Mm.
na? And you have to reach to all your classes. You have to reach all your classes, and you have to reach in 5 minutes earlier. If you don't reach,
Mm.
then there will be repercussions. So
Mm.
and it's Masuri. So and this Labasna happens in this August, September, October period, November period, which is cooling, winter kind of phase
Yes.
starts. So
Yes.
waking up itself becomes very difficult thing, and it's a
Yes.
mountainous area. So they will focus a lot on physical activity, because now we have a very sedentary life. We are only
Mm.
studying. Physical activity is very too much reduced. Labasna
Mm.
knows this thing, so they will focus a lot on your physical activity. But it's a
Mm.
mountainous area. In mountainous area, if you try to run, you will run short of oxygen. So it's
True.
very difficult
Agree.
to do
Yeah.
physical activity there. But
Mm.
they will force you to do that, to the
Mm.
extent if you want to go to your hostel to your class. The
Mm.
academy is built in such a way that you have to climb a short mountain to
Mm.
go to your classes. So going
Mm.
to classes itself is a physical activity there. And
Mm.
so basically what I'm trying to say is that uh, it's difficult, and they
Mm.
also know it's difficult, but they have made it difficult purposefully, because they want to train you, want to make you harden for the life to come. So initial 10-15
Mm.
days it becomes like a hell, but afterwards it becomes a beautiful journey. And by the 3 months, by the Labasna is ending, you make
Mm.
so good friends and so good memories that you don't want to leave. So this is how the curve goes down to the bottom in first 10 months, first 10 days, and then it strikes up.
So it's like initially the challenges of the terrain, the challenges of that new place. So that makes it difficult.
Yes.
And that that I can say that strict and the disciplined timetable. And then
Yes.
eventually you get adapt to that situation.
For example, if I give you one small scenario, in our third or fourth week only, we had a track of what, 16 16 kilometers to and fro, so 32 kilometers. So
Oh,
we had a track of 32 kilometers in our
okay.
third or fourth week only. So
Okay.
it's difficult, yeah. It's not easy to walk 32 kilometers in a plain area. You're walking in the
That hilly
hilly.
area.
So
So you
now,
have your friend circle. So like everybody is sharing the pain together.
yes, everybody is sharing the pain together. We are all cursing the directors or cursing
Yes.
the coach team. Okay, obviously in a fun
Yes.
way only,
Yes,
but
obviously.
that thing happens. Now,
Hmm.
so because of these things, it becomes very difficult, because
But
they
then
keep
eventually, yes.
keep us engaged in everything and anything and everything. Yeah,
Hmm. But it helps to shape your personality later
yeah,
on. And then
yes,
you thank your directors. Okay, they
yes.
give
Then
you
it's
that kind of
another.
challenges. So it like both ways. So great, sir. Thank you so much
Yeah,
once again to accept the invitation and to come and to share such raw insights which are students.
sure.
So last, like before you leave, I just want to take one more advantage. So like
Sure.
if you want this time, people are like aspirants are like so low in motivation. Like result is also coming, so they have high expectations no matter what happens. So if you have any word of advice to the aspirants who are waiting for the results or who are giving the prelims next year, so please.
See, what I will say, a lot of motivations are there. I will just say one thing that uh, see, if you passed, everything is good, no worries, okay. But if you fail, है ना,
Hmm.
you need to realize that there's a lot of other opportunities existing in this nation. ठीक है.
Hmm.
there are people who have not get good education, but they are earning in lakhs if not in crores. Okay,
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say is that it's not end of the world if you're not able to clear UPSC. A lot of
Hmm.
things exist, it's just that you will feel a setback. Okay,
Hmm.
setbacks are part of life, you know. So
Hmm.
that is one thing. Second thing is that for me at least, when I failed in 2020, it was a blessing for me, because now it helped me to, take, it gave me 4 5 months extra to
Hmm.
prepare for those things which I was not preparing properly. So
Hmm.
try to find that bright light in your result. Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir. Such raw, genuine advices. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.